What up, Eagle Talk fam?
Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, it's the week of Thanksgiving, and welcome to episode number 84 of the Eagle Talk podcast. And today we are talking about gratitude in business, but honestly, gratitude overall.
It is important to feel good and to be grateful for everything that we have.
Yeah.
We've learned that over the years, that your attitude is everything. And we'll talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. But before we do, I thought we would do a little different spin on our check-in, babe. Thanksgiving is coming up, and a lot of people love to eat greens, hams, yams, potatoes, I don't know the song.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
My favorite Thanksgiving food is, I hate Thanksgiving food because when I came home from college, I think for 4 years,
yeah,
I managed my uncle's soul food restaurant in Dalton, Illinois.
Yeah.
Dusty's Buffet, and I ate soul food every day. So I hate Thanksgiving food.
But if you had to choose one thing, what would you say?
Greens with turkey meat.
Okay, yeah, Corey loves greens.
Yeah, like, I will eat that.
I had to learn how to cook greens, and I, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate my greens?
They're up there. You're probably about an 8.5.
What about your mama's?
10. Is it true?
Look, I'm not mad at you, because I will say almost every time I make greens, I have to call your mama like, even though I know and I did that with my mom. Like, I would always call her and that's something. Don't just call y'all. Write down these recipes, because my mother, I would always call her every time it was time for me to make hot water cornbread. And I know how to make it, but I haven't made it right since she died.
Yeah. I think you also just like to hear her tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All you got to do is this and just a pinch of baking powder, not baking sugar.
That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah. She would like, and she'd be like, let me see it. Is it soupy? It's too soupy. You gotta make it more stiff.
Right.
Okay, so for me, my favorite Thanksgiving food. So fun fact about Corey and Rosemary. When we got married, remember, we made a pact. We were like, okay, I was like, as long as you don't want me to cook soul food, we good.
Yeah.
Because Corey grew up in the restaurant, and his mother is a big cook, and my mother was a big cook. Y'all, we had dressing every Sunday.
Yep.
Like every Sunday, my whole life, we had dressing. There was always a homemade cake in the cake pan, and I was not, I just could give or take it. So I'm with you. I mean, I do like, don't snatch our black card, because we do enjoy soul food, but it's not something that we crave. I
think last Thanksgiving we went out to dinner.
Oh yeah, we went, and not only did we go out to dinner, we went to like Eddie V's. We went to a seafood restaurant.
Yeah, we did.
And on the low, we might do it again this year.
We will.
But I'm trying to think, if I had to think of one thing. Okay, this is gonna be so random, but I like a roll, and I like this after Thanksgiving. I want a roll with some juicy turkey and cranberry sauce inside the roll.
Where you from? What street you from?
I'm from, that's a real 79th.
That's a real South Side is in the building.
Yes, and I don't want any fancy cranberry sauce, right? Y'all know that, I don't know what most people do, but the blacks, we eat our cranberry sauce out the can, just the regular. I don't want the jellied cranberry sauce. I want the one that's in the can. So the processed one, the extra processed one. So that's what we like.
My apologies, y'all, for the ghetto-ness on Eagle Talk today. But she giving it to y'all in the raw.
Hey, that's
it's all good. No, you're right. I've seen you eat it like that plenty of times. So I know that's your jam.
And by roll, I want the brown and serve rolls. Which, by the way, I'm trying to think. It was something about the brown and serve rolls. Oh, did you know that the brown and serve rolls? This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I believe that you are supposed to, like, don't burn up your house, but that little white box that they come in, you can put that whole box in the oven. Never knew that.
I've never. Y'all Google and YouTube that, please. This is not cooking advice on the show today, but it could be true. I don't know.
It could be true. It could be true. But no. That I'm taking that back. Hawaiian rolls, you really supposed to bake. Did you know that?
I thought they were done already.
No, like, look on the box. You're supposed to bake Hawaiian rolls. We go try it this year with my stuff. That's what it was. It wasn't the brown and serve rolls. It's the Hawaiian rolls that if you read that orange, like the directions, it tells you to bake the Hawaiian rolls. I low-key feel like that might mess them up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're grateful for Hawaiian rolls. So we're going to get back to the episode. No, seriously, just, and we've had a challenging year, Yeah. But we're still grateful. We still expect the best.
Yes.
And the emotions of enjoying it all, I guess,
Yeah. So one of the reasons why when we, we think about not only what do we just want to talk about, well, what will serve our audience, what will serve y'all best. And here is what we know. And this is what we know about dreamers and big thinkers and doers and especially when you're building a business or you have a business or whatever, a lot of times we're so laser focused on our goals and we can be hard on ourselves because we set the standard so high that we don't take the time to acknowledge how what we have built is already serving us and show gratitude for it. So we just wanted to even talk and just speak a little transparently about our process because, it's that conundrum of wanting more, but being super grateful and present where you are. And we're framing it with business, but I feel like it can be in your body, it can be in your financial situation, it can be, yes, I can't wait till my kids are out of diapers, but you know what, I'm so grateful for this stage that I'm in right now with them. So just really taking a pause, and I know, obviously we know that Thanksgiving is a time where we are a little bit more reflective, but we just want to talk about the power of just living a life of gratitude and especially showing gratitude with the business that God has blessed you with, the vision that you have for your business.
I think in life, we get to moving so fast that we forget to kind of just pause and have those just right then thoughts of appreciation.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of things are just expected, to be in our favor and to just work out for us, which, I guess it should be. You should have those feelings, but I also think that, a lot of things are taken for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
You reconnected a little while ago with a friend we hadn't spoke to in a couple years. And when you came home, he was like, yeah, did you know that her father passed? And I was like, no, I didn't. I was like, yeah, he just walked in the house and he was dead. Like it wasn't when your mother passed, we had almost like a build up. Yeah, right. So even just situations when I hear stuff like that, it makes me kind of just reflective on just being present and grateful for what we have going on.
Present and grateful in a moment. And what I think happens to a lot of us is we take for granted the blessings. Like there's a thing like a meme that goes out and it says like, do you remember the days you used to pray for the things that you have now?
Yeah, for sure.
And I look at that twofold because sometimes there are things that we've prayed for and then when we get them, they almost become burdens, right?
Yeah.
So you pray for the business, but now you have the stress that comes with the business or the challenges or the taxes or whatever that is. But then there are just subtle things. Like I think about often, a couple days ago, I was my son's school. They took them to a camp, and I did not sign up for the camp to be a chaperone.
Right.
But I thought about my teaching days. Like, okay, I remember my teacher friends going to the camp, taking 2 nights away from their family to be with the 5th graders. So I sent Cameron's teachers a message, and I was just like, look, Cameron just came back. He really enjoyed camp. And I'm just, I just want to tell y'all I'm grateful. Can I bring y'all lunch? And I brought them lunch. And as I was going to go pick up the lunch, I just had like a little pause of gratitude because I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. First of all, they wanted Chili's. I ain't tripping, but there was a time.
Chili's would have.
There was a time.
It would have been a whole problem to buy 10 people Chili's.
There was a time that Chili's would have took me out, right? So I was grateful, that, the businesses that we have allow me to show gratitude to the people that are pouring into my son. But then even the fact that, and I'm driving to go get them lunch at noon,
Right.
So, which is a reflection of the choice that I made to go into business. And so when I'm overwhelmed or when the market is not performing the way that I was used to it, or, you're up late coaching teams or doing whatever, it's like, okay, this is the moment that I'm grateful for. And, in those times of recognizing that I don't have to be on the stage accepting an award, if it's not the best fiscal year I've ever had, if I don't hit all the numbers, there are still so many blessings along the way. And just thinking about how grateful I was for the business in that moment going to grab the teacher's lunch, it, not that I was in a funk, but it just made me even more purposeful for that day.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of a couple of things. First thing is I think it's our responsibility to continue to share our gratitude and to like help other people feel good.
Yes.
Right. And what I'm saying about that is you use the word burden. I'm thinking about this right now. How we used to come in on a Tuesday, rushing, setting up the equipment. Glenn has come in. And not that it was a burden, but you don't know is Facebook gonna freeze? How many people gonna be on there? And just the way that it is now with us recording the way we record. I watched 2 older episodes, a couple of nights ago.
You are the biggest Eagle Talk fan.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are.
But the point that I'm making, even with that, is can you think about how much dope stuff we said that we don't have copies of?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because
we lost it because
of something like that.
Right. So even I'm grateful for even the way that we're doing this because, and again,
you're grateful for evolution.
Right. But I just want to make sure that I'm saying that it's not a burden. But it was definitely a hassle.
It was a challenge.
Yeah,
it was a challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
So what I hear you saying, and I think this can be applicable for so many business owners, right? Or just people in general, like the way that you parented your first kid when he was 5, you might look at your new 5-year-old like, "Woo, Lord!"
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful that my mindset has shifted and that I've grown to do things differently, and I've scaled. I was listening last night. We were at Bible study. And maybe it wasn't Bible study. I think I was actually listening to her podcast, Jada Edwards. Jada is amazing. She is really a spiritual leader in our lives. And she co-pastors the church that we go to. But Jada said something along the lines like, sometimes she pray for the people that was under her ministry her first 5 years. Yeah. Because she was like, ooh, baby, like I pray that they still walking with the Lord because I only know, Right. So just being to the point where we don't beat up on ourselves, but we're grateful for the journey. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, because how many times have you reached a goal and you think that all of a sudden life gonna be Gucci when you get to the goal? Then you get to the goal and guess what? You get momentary satisfaction, but if you haven't been grateful and in the moment and present in the whole process, that was the blessing. And you get to the goal and it's unsatisfying.
Yeah. I was talking to Aaron Sane yesterday and he just called me with, it's like, what you doing? I was like, I'm driving. I need you to share this with your Eagle Talk family. I just got, I don't know if you saw, you posted it actually last night too. And he was talking about getting to the mountain, climbing the mountain. And when you finally get to the mountain, you get there and then your friends want to climb the mountain, right? Yeah. Or whoever So you go back down that mountain to attempt to help them up and you get down there and they say, well, I only want to go halfway. Right?
Yeah.
So what am I saying? I'm saying that even in gratitude, certain things that make me happy, my accomplishments, you always say, well, everybody now don't want you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think he had that and he's still transitioning in his business. He's actually going Friday to DC to train this guy that's in the NBA. He's in his last rookie contract. He told me he's about to get his big payday. So he's really excited about that. But he was like, man, I had to leave some people behind.
Yeah.
And he gave the mountain as the analogy. I totally get it. He said, and it was nothing wrong with going to help those people, but I'm not going back down the mountain. It was too challenging getting up. Now I'll send you a rope. Right. And help, pull you up. But as far as me going back down there physically,
exactly. You got to do some work to get up here.
So that's,
and even recognizing that, coming to that realization in your career is huge.
Yeah. It was actually really deep, the way he put it. And it was a really big, because he's trained and been around a lot of celebrities, whatever. But he was like, man, I don't want to go back down that path.
Right.
And a lot of people are trying to get to a certain place, but they don't want it as bad as I want it, Yeah. So it was just an interesting conversation that we had.
No, that was interesting. So I want to share with our Eagle Talk fam just some different ways that we practice gratitude in our lives. And because again, it's real easy to focus on the negative, but really being intentional on finding ways to practice gratitude, I think is huge. And there are a couple things that we've started doing that we've done consistently for a couple years now that really help us with that. So you want to share one?
I share two.
Okay.
The first one is this week, actually, I just started back journaling.
Oh, baby, listen.
Which is huge for me. She journals every day.
Every ish day.
And I started, what's this, Thursday? I started Monday. And when I got to the end, I texted her and I was like, what else? That's like journaling is emotional.
Yeah, no, he was like, journaling is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. That's what I said. Journaling is heavy. But that's one thing. But that's my way to go back and reflect and be grateful, which I was grateful with the words that I wrote down. It was just like, ooh, man, I just unpacked a lot in 3 pages.
I want to just put a pin right there because y'all, one of the best, and this is something that you and I actually talked about a couple weeks ago when we were in Broken Bow, because we talked about the way we communicate. And I said to you, you said something along the lines like, I don't know how to say it the way that you said. And I thought about it for a second. I said, well, you know what? I think that I am learning, like I'm a little bit better of a communicator. And you were like, why? And I was like, because I journal every day. Yeah. And you were like, major key, wow. But right. Spending time just being free with my own thoughts. Yeah. Again, that power of thinking, we're gonna keep saying it. And then in being free with my own thoughts in my journal, I get to just really be honest about really what's going on in my head. And sometimes there are things that are happening that you don't even want to say out loud. Yeah. But you know what? I'm grateful for that written documentation and then going back and journaling about it. Because now when I go back and I look at, like, one of my favorite pastimes a few times a year is to go back and read my journals from like 2000. I've been journaling consistently since about 2017. And like every year it's like, okay, what was I like? What was I tripping on this year? Yeah. And then when I see what I was tripping on or the things that stressed me out or worried me or, you know, my questions to God. And now I'm thinking like, okay, I love that I have this record because I remember her and I remember, like, now I get to remember how God has brought her through that. Yeah. So whatever I'm facing today, I have evidence, because we quick to forget what happened. Yeah. But journals give you evidence of what you have gone through in your words, not from somebody else's perspective, because we minimize it. You know, we minimize our deliverance. Yeah. We devalue it. That's
also the point I was making about all of the earlier Eagle Talk footage that we lost, right? Because you always use the word evolve. I definitely think we've 100% evolved, but I would love to go back and just see our mindset then as opposed to now.
I got the first one. I'm a link. It's on Instagram. I will link the first Eagle Talk because it's still on Instagram. The first
I don't want to see it. I'm sure I was stiff as a board. Like, I ain't talking to these people. I don't know these people.
I have the first one.
All right. So the second thing that I want to share is something that we also recently started. I mean, we've done it. We just haven't done it consistently, but now we are making more of an effort, is to pray together daily. I think that brings a certain level of just daily gratitude, and I think it brings a certain level of connection. Yeah. You know, so that's the two that I want to share.
Yeah, and really, yeah, you're right, because in praying together and being more consistent with that, first of all, praying, period. Like, I really think that we all devalue the power of prayer, and you know, God is concerned with everything, right? And what I find, I read a book once, I think it was called Present Over Perfect. The one key that I got in that book was how they she encouraged praying vinegar and oil prayers. And what she meant by that was, she said that a lot of times we pray and they're very surface, like the Lord don't know what's happening in our lives. Right. Like, thank you for my house, thank you for my kids, thank you for my husband. Now the husband, you know, is raggedy, the kids raggedy, the house raggedy, but you're not honest with God about the condition of your heart. So she said that in these prayers, as we get honest with God, then he opens himself up to, you know, like, then it opens us up to see the wonder of God. So she's like, you pray the vinegar, like, get the bitter stuff out, be honest with him. Like, okay, this is what's hurting. This is what's troubling me. This is what's going on. And I am a witness. After you get the vinegar out, then the oil can flow. So after I'm honest with God and say, you know what, I'm grieving, I'm very upset, like I'm a little stressed about this, and I know you told me to cast my cares, and I'm struggling letting go of this, then he will remind you, like, okay, yeah, but remember when I did this, and remember when I did that. So like, I may be praying and frustrated about a bill, but then he brings to my remembrance every time that we have never suffered lack, right? Yeah. So and now us sharing that together is definitely a game changer. And I'm just grateful. I'm looking forward to see what God will do with it. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that.
Yeah, and I say this all the time, and I don't think that that people get it or understand it when I say it. And it was something that I learned whenever The Secret came out. And in one of the parts, the guy always said, it's important that you feel good.
Yes.
And I don't think that's not, that's not highlighted enough in people's life. Prime example, this morning, our son woke up. It wasn't a good morning for him, right? And I took him to the bus, and he was tired. He was whatever. And we got an email. He had a little issue in gym class today in some non-participation way. And I told Rosemary, I said, I knew he was going to have a bad day because it started off wrong, right? So it's the same thing in life. I think that it's important, that you get your juju, get your spirits and everything right. And it just attracts a good life, I guess. Yeah.
And then I want to bounce it back to business too, particularly in business and showing gratitude. I think that it's also important not to just show gratitude for where you are and all that, but also the people that you're in partnership with.
Yeah.
And letting them know, like vocally letting those people know, because it's real easy to be like, my assistant lazy, and because of course, like we're naturally wired to look at the negative, right? My assistant stay getting this wrong, or she did this, but you know what? But she also dropped everything and went and picked up your kid when you forgot that it was early dismissal, or your spouse. I never forget one time, y'all. We were in a rough season a couple years ago, and and in that rough season, like I took something very small, and now if you tied your shoe, I'm like, look at how he tied his shoe, like he just like ain't nobody never saw him double knot, like everything. And I never forget one day I was in a space where it was actually at my family reunion when they were here in Dallas, where I was really just kind of critical of you.
Right.
And I was focusing on what you weren't. And the Lord literally said to me, you so focused on what he isn't, you're not paying attention to what he is and how I've grown him. And I remember, and I told you that, like I didn't withhold that from you. And I remember stopping in my tracks and being like, you are right, because you had grown so much in that sense, but I was so busy being critical of everything that I wanted it to be a certain way. And if it didn't show up in that way, I was missing a blessing in front of me. Right. So I say all that to say that applies to your business life, right? So are you grateful, even if your rent went up, are you grateful that you have clients? Are you showing, like I'm huge on showing my clients how much I love and appreciate them, because I understand that it is their referrals, it's their vote of confidence, it's their support, it's them trusting me as their homegirl that allows us to live the life that we desire to live. Definitely. So I definitely, like, if there is not a rhythm of and not just client appreciation just because they say we're supposed to, but I want my clients to know my heart and know that, like, I truly am grateful for every time you mention my name, and even y'all, every time y'all mention Eagle Talk, we are so grateful. So definitely having that rhythm of gratitude in your business with the partners that you're working with the people who are supporting your business. If I hate doing business with people that act like I'm doing them a favor by patronizing their business.
Yeah,
or
we
working
talked about
with
that
them
the other day.
Yeah. So that's a huge thing.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm gonna bounce the ball from us to them. And when this episode come out, I know we'll let Kim know to just put something in the group that they're grateful for. Yeah,
in Eagle Talk with, and if you haven't already joined Eagle Talk with Team Lewis on Facebook, join that Facebook group because it's just super lit. It's super lit. And it's a community of Eagles, and we want to just grow the community. So if you are in that group, if you could go ahead and write down what you're grateful for, or you can do it on YouTube. You can write in the comments, how does this episode help you think about moving forward with a gracious heart? Yeah.
Well, guys, we are staying with the attitude of gratitude and just wanted to just spread some love and share some of our thoughts, and we hope this was a good one for you. And anything you want to close out with?
Well, yes, I do. So because we would be so grateful if you would go ahead and leave a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Leave a 5-star review. And seriously, if there was any part of this episode that blessed you or you thought about it, if you could also screenshot it, post it on your social media, and then that way the people in your area, your sphere, your friends and family, they will be able to easily find us. And that just helps us to stay relevant on the podcast charts. And again, that's just so special to us. So we appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Happy Thanksgiving.